example, think of Tesla. You guys know that last year, what's his face? The guy who's going to bankrupt Twitter. Man, that was such a bad purchase. Even before all the crap he did after the purchase. Fair value for Twitter wasn't more than 25 billion. But, he bought it. Anyway, he had to sell a lot of Tesla stock because he had options that were about to expire at the end of 2022. If you don't exercise them before they expire, they're worthless. And just to cover the tax bill on that exercise, he had to sell more than $1 billion worth of Tesla stock. I mean, just the taxes he was going to pay on that was $1 billion. Think of options that were granted at the end of 2012. Let's see what was Tesla price then. Let's see, financeyahoo.com. I want to get the exact price. Historical data. Come on, I want the start date of. No, let's just write it. If you want to look at the adjusted close because of the splits and stuff. So the last day of 2012, it was $6.53. Remember, Tesla was split last year. And let's look at the Tesla price last year. I'm just going to look at the graph. Charting, what are you? Let's just do 1 year. Oh, you're not in Tesla. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. It was $2.21, okay? Each firm differs. Some firms do it kind of the average of the last week, but typically it's the close. Now let's look at the chart of last 1 year. I mean, it's down significantly now, but I mean, it was anywhere between $300 to about $137 at the end of the year, okay? But he sold them much earlier. He sold them around this range, 300 range. First half of 2022, aka BT, You know what BT is? Before Twitter. uh, Tesla stock was around, let's say, 300, 350 range. So exercising one option means he had the right to buy. Guys, if you want to converse about stuff, it's better to do it outside. There's no echo. You had the right to buy at $2.12, and he could, if he chose, sell at over $300. You see what kind of incentive? If the guy is successful, he's gonna make crap loads of money. And they also give him unrestricted shares, but they also give him options. Either way, there's a reason his wealth was over $100 billion. I don't think it is now, but the first billion is hard. After that, I don't think it's that hard. If he didn't have those options, other than for pure, you know, greed, maybe, why would he have any incentive to put in all that work to create a car like Tesla? You know that it's going to take at least 5 to 15 years for the for that business to go anywhere. And if it goes down, you get nothing. If it goes up, maybe they'll pay you a high salary, but you're not going to have $100 billion. You want to participate in the upside of the firm. That's what these options do. Back when Google went first IPO, one of their secretaries, about a few years after, had a net worth over $100 million. You know why? Because Google was established in 1998 by two PhD students in Stanford. Obviously, they had angel investor money, venture capital money, but when you're a startup, cash is a very valuable thing. So they tell their secretary, we can't pay you much, but we're going to give you shares pretty much every month. That's what they did. When they went IPO in 2004, I believe, uh, I think at the current level, so I don't have to guess. Google was split a few times. In the meantime, let's do max. So in 2004, it was $3. Now it's $104. And think about it. And basically, she didn't even have to pay anything to get those shares other than her time. And right now, the company is worth $1.34 trillion. It does create an incentive. So it's a good thing. Okay. But it also has a dark side. By allowing the execs to share the upside of the firm, it creates, not necessarily creates, but it aligns interests of the shareholders and the management. Otherwise, we have this famous problem called agency problem. I hire you as an agent and I pay you a fixed fee. And I can't necessarily observe what you're doing to get your job done. As a small shareholder of Google, I neither have time, nor interest, nor the resources to basically audit the management and fire them if they're not doing their job. So if I give them a fixed, let's say $5 million salary, trust me, in tech industry, for a CEO, that's nothing, especially at the high end, especially given the cost of housing in the San Francisco area. A two-bedroom apartment would cost million to million and a half apartment. If you want, four-bedroom house with a large yard, we're talking minimum $10 million. I'm serious. What incentives do they have to basically make the firm very successful? As long as they're minimally successful without taking too much risk. Remember, if you don't take too much risk, firm is not going to lose too much. Typically, management is fired when the firm is really, really doing bad. So you're not going to take much risk. That reduces the risk to be fired. They pay you $5 million. But as a shareholder, I want a lot more than that. Well, the only way for that happen, for the firm to take in potentially valuable but also much riskier investment projects. Think about Tesla as an electric car company back in 2012. Did anybody ever think that they could sell 500,000 cars this year? No. I don't think even the Tesla people believe that it could happen. So if American or world population didn't go for electric cars, it would have failed miserably. An example, Virgin Galactic or Virgin Space something, Virgin Orbit. Their business was to take people to the orbit, do a few orbits and come back. That's just a horrible business line, and they're running out of business. Okay, but they put a lot of money into that. It's risky, but it was potentially profitable. Turned out it wasn't. Same thing with electric car. Would any manager with a fixed salary ever take on CEO of Tesla? Nope. What's in it for me? Okay, that's the what we call in economics homo economicus. Okay? The guy who looks for his own interest, and there is nothing wrong with that ethically. But his interests and shareholders of interest are not aligned. That creates a conflict. That's why when you have a broker, when you're selling your house, you pay by a certain percentage of the fee. That way, if they actually sell it for a higher price, they get a higher fee. Instead of telling them, okay, here's $5,000, sell my house. Well, then they're going to sell at the lowest price that they could so that they can get 5,000. But it creates potential for